I came home planning a surprise for my wife, but it turned into a confrontation that would shatter everything. Reddit cheating stories. They say life can flip in an instant. One moment, you're excited to surprise the person you love more than anything, and the next, you're standing in your own living room, watching your world collapse before your eyes. I'd been away for 2 weeks on a work trip. Exhausting, yes, but every night I called Emily. Her voice was a comfort. Soft, warm, full of love. She always told me she missed me, that the house felt empty without me. Those words carried me through sleepless hotel nights and endless meetings. So when I discovered I could come home 2 days early, I didn't tell her. I wanted it to be a surprise. I stopped at a florist, grabbed her favorite white lilies, and even picked up cheesecake from the little bakery she loved. My heart raced the whole drive home, excited, nervous, just happy to finally see her. It was around 7 p.m. when I pulled into the driveway. Her car was there, lights on. Through the window, I saw flickering shadows. At first, I thought she must be watching a movie, but as I approached the door, I heard something else, laughter, a man's laughter. I froze. For a moment, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe her brother dropped by, maybe a friend, but deep down, something felt wrong. My stomach twisted, palms sweated, heart pounding in my ears. I pushed the door open quietly. The house smelled of her perfume. Yes, but stronger, heavier, mingled with something else, cologne. I set the flowers on the hallway table and followed the laughter into the living room. And there she was, Emily, my wife of 7 years, sitting on the couch, laughing at something a man said. He had his arm around her, and her hand rested on his leg. The same way she used to touch me while we watched movies together. The cheesecake box slipped from my hand, hitting the floor. They both jumped. Emily's laughter vanished instantly. Her eyes widened, face drained of color. "Michael," she whispered, voice trembling. The man, someone I'd never seen before, stood up, adjusting his shirt. "Hey, man, I can explain." "Don't," I said, voice shaking. "Don't even try." Emily got up, hands trembling. "It's not what it looks like," she said. The oldest line in the book. I laughed. Actually laughed because it was so pathetic. "Really, Emily?" I said, "Because it looks exactly like what it looks like." The man, Tom, her co-worker, I later learned, mumbled something and moved toward the door. I stepped aside. I wasn't trying to make a scene. I just wanted him gone. Once the door closed, the silence was unbearable. Emily started crying. "Michael, please. I made a mistake. I didn't mean for this to happen." "A mistake?" I snapped. "You don't accidentally bring someone into our home, Emily. Into our marriage." She reached for me, but I stepped back. Every word she said felt like a dagger. She talked about feeling lonely, about how I'd been distant with work, about wanting to feel wanted again. And the worst part, some of it was true. I had been distant, caught up in deadlines, meetings, bills. I thought I was doing it for us, for our future, but she wanted something else. Still, no excuse justified betrayal. "I would have done anything for you," I said quietly. "All you had to do was tell me how you felt." Her sobs grew louder. She begged me not to leave, but I couldn't look at her anymore. I went upstairs, packed a small bag, and left. That night, I sat in my car outside a 24-hour diner, staring at the wedding ring on my hand. My mind replayed it all, the laughter, her expression, the shock. Everything I'd built, everything I believed in, shattered in seconds. Days turned into weeks. She called, texted, even showed up at my office once. I ignored her every time. I was broken, angry, humiliated. But slowly, that anger turned into something else. Clarity. I realized that while her betrayal destroyed my trust, it didn't have to destroy me. I started going to the gym again, picked up my guitar for the first time in years, reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with. For the first time in a long while, I felt alive. Months later, Emily reached out one last time. She said she'd been going to therapy, that she understood what she'd thrown away. She asked to meet. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at the same cafe where we'd had our first date. She looked fragile, remorseful. I don't expect forgiveness, she said softly. But I want you to know I'll always regret what I did to you. I looked at her, and for the first time since that night, I didn't feel rage, just sadness. I forgive you, I said, but forgiveness doesn't mean we go back. It just means I'm letting go. She nodded, tears in her eyes, smiling weakly. You deserve to be happy, Michael. Walking away from that cafe, I felt lighter than I had in years. Painful as it was, that brutal confrontation forced me to face the truth, not just about her, but about myself. Sometimes, the worst heartbreaks lead to the strongest rebirths. And that day, I realized something powerful. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you rise after they break you. End message. Healing doesn't come from revenge or anger. It comes from acceptance, growth, and rediscovering your own strength.